Welcome to the Zwift Games Recon videos. Yes, indeed, it is the inaugural Zwift Games, and today we're going to focus on the Sprint Championships and those first three stages, which the elites will be doing back-to-back on those opening days, while myself and the community will be racing stages 1 to 3 between the 1st of March and the 8th of March. Don't forget, there are always make-up stages. These are happening between the 18th and the 31st of March. So let's get in to stages 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so indeed, I'm going to run through all three stages today in this video, and I have indeed added chapters below so you can simply skip to the stage which is relevant to you when you come back to this video again and again, hopefully. Each stage has recon notes available on the Level Velo community pages with distance markers and power-up points. Don't forget, we've still got the voting going on for that Design a Jersey competition, and there's a link also down in the description for that. Alrighty, stage 1, let's go. Loop the loop, part of the Sprint Championships, but don't be fooled by this. It's by no means an out-and-out sprint stage. It's a 2-lap race, which is 24.9 kilometers long and includes the iconic Zwift KQOM for extra spice, and inevitably this is going to thin the peloton out before we get to that finishing sprint. There's just one power-up available on this route, and it's a draft power-up giving 40 seconds worth of additional draft. This will be picked up each lap at the JW Sprint banner. Use it wisely on lap 1, and on lap 2, if possible, you want to try and save this for the final push to the finish line. Unless you need to use it, of course, over the top of the Zwift KOM climb to crawl back to that lead group, or hold on if you're suffering. Otherwise, this power-up is going to be really useful for that finishing kick, especially as speeds are going to be really high before this finishing sprint as we head into downtown. You're going to descend off the KOM very quickly, and pack speeds will be very high. Heavier riders are going to carry a lot of speed on that descent into the final 500 meters. So hold on to those wheels and set yourself, if possible, 10th wheel to 20th wheel until you're ready to launch your killer sprint to the line. For the elites, remember, it's the top 30 who will go through to stage 2. Community, it's all about the overall GC time across each stage. So expect the hilly KOM to be contested in both competitions. All right, let's look at the course. I was lucky enough to ride these routes with some of the elites and gather some tips and tricks from the pros at the same time. Here are those recon notes with those main points of interest for each course. So we leave the pens, head out of Watopia and towards the S's, over the bridge to pick up a power-up. It's then a short loop around the Italian villas before heading back over the bridge, back in the reverse direction over the S's, back to downtown before heading up the first Zwift KOM. A 90-second to 2.5 minute effort to the top. This is where the pace is going to be pushed hard on both laps. Hang on to those wheels over this intense opening section of the climb, and then keep pushing as it flattens off towards the banner. It's then a rolling descent road, and then we turn right and hit the descent bypass road that drops you back down the KOM and towards downtown Watopia before hitting the fast run-in to the finish. Okay, that's stage 1. So remember, look out for that Zwift KOM. That's where the pace is going to be pushed. And then stay amongst those front wheels as you descend, and then head back towards that finishing gallop towards the finish line. Stage 2, this is the Jurassic Coast, another interesting course, and again, also includes a climb to commence proceedings on this route. So we leave the pens. Very quickly, we're going to hit Titans Grove, taking in that roller coaster ascent to the official Titans Grove KQOM reverse. As you hit the marker on the ground, that's 900 meters to the summit of the climb. So again, dependent on whether you're trying to push or break things up, or simply hold on to wheels, keep driving over the top of the KOM. At the banner, you're going to collect an aero power-up. Hold on to this until the finishing sprint, because you're going to need it for this fast, complicated finishing sprint. So once to the top again, you're going to take the roller coaster descent towards the coastal road. Yes, you're going to go through sprint segments, but you can ignore these and just stay focused on sitting in that front group and watching for attacks. If you have teammates, it may be possible to try some attacks, but if you're solo, just watch, follow wheels, and if it's a large group go, maybe then consider following. It's the finish which is the most interesting on this course. It's a really tricky sprint finish, as you can see. The aero is going to be really crucial. As you approach the Sasquatch sprints, you cross the bridge, then you hit a descent with a negative 2% acceleration point. When you hit the bottom, speeds will be high in the group, and you've still got 300 meters to go. The road then very quickly pitches up to plus 3% incline, and if you're solo off the front, you're likely to be swallowed up by the pack at some point between here and the banner. My advice, leave it as late as possible to use that power up on this uphill drag and sit in the wheels until the last 150 meters, maybe 5th to 10th wheel, depending on how much it's strung out, but don't leave that sprint too late. Otherwise, you won't have the time to get past those riders in front. It's a really tricky sprint to finish the race, and Zwift knowledge and craft will play a big difference here. I think for the elite, it's going to be a super tactical, interesting finish. All right, so let's look at stage 3. We, of course, have been here before for the UCI World Championships final back in 2023. It's the Glasgow Crit Circuit. 5 laps. And with just 10 riders, anything can happen. You may remember this is where Bjorn Andreasen launched his super early solo attack and simply rode away from the other 9 riders. I'm not going to say the same will happen here because of course this isn't an elimination race, but you never know. Crazy moves could happen, especially if riders are watching each other. It's the repeated nature of the Clyde kicker which could play an important part in this race. So let's get into the course. We leave the pens, head through the start-finish banner, and then it's all about this Clyde kicker, this punchy segment which riders will likely use to reduce the pack or launch summer breaks. But this is all about finishing position this time, not about points. Power-ups for this one is the draft van. This is an interesting power. Actually, I think this could almost neutralize the race potentially, as packs again will utilize this to increase the group speed and minimize breaks. I would have preferred to see more of attacking power up for this course, but maybe Zwift want this to come down to a finish bunch sprint. It is the sprint championships after all. Again, another really interesting finishing sprint. It opens up so many options with just 10 riders. It is possible to go long on this sprint and use that dip and this small kicker before you take that left turn and head to that finish line. But again, with such a small group, it's essential not to drift too far back and stay alert and switched on all the time towards that finish line. So that's it. That's the 3 sprint routes. I'm going to run all 3 routes back to back after this particular section. Everything is chaptered throughout the video, so you can skip to those specific routes. I will be back for a recon of the Epic Championships, of course, which I've ridden already, and I really love the route. It feels like an esports equivalent to the classics, which we're currently watching on Discovery Plus. Thanks again for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. Let me know what you think about the Zwift games and specifically right now the Sprint Championships routes. And I'll see you soon for more cycling esports content.